Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Special welcome to all the students and teachers who are joining us today. My name is Christy, and I'm a librarian for the San Francisco Public Library. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that I am in San Francisco, California, on the unceded land of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, and I would like to offer this land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land where we are gathered today is the traditional land of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. We must give thanks and respect to the Ohlone people by taking care of the earth, the animals, and to one another. We acknowledge that non-Ohlone residents are guests on this occupied land, and we are grateful for the opportunity to live, learn, and play here today. We promise to uplift and respect the Ohlone people, their history, and their work. I invite you to look in the chat and tell us where you're tuning in from. If you'd like to learn more about native land, check our chat feed as well. Moving on, I want to let you know about a special event happening this Saturday at a virtual event with a K-pop dance studio with Ray Studios here in San Francisco. Get moving to choreography from some of your favorite K-pop idols such as Twice, BTS, Blackpink, and more. You don't want to miss this. So RSVP so you can join us on Zoom. And we're gearing up for Summer Stride. This is the largest literacy campaign that we present in our community. And we are so thrilled to be working in partnership with Chronicle Books and Minnie Fan. She is our artist of all things Summer Stride this year, and she's going to be doing a special art talk. She's an Oakland-based Vietnamese American illustrator, and we are so delighted to be in partnership with her. So check it out. You can always check out what's happening at your library on our public website for upcoming events in person and virtual and hybrid. And you can also find amazing books by inspiring women, artists, and more. Thank you again for being with us today. We are hosting this program that touches on both Weaving Stories, our library's celebration of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and also Mental Health Awareness Month. And we are delighted to be in partnership with Linda Calhoun. Let me do a proper introduction with Linda. She's been our partner for over a year, bringing virtual professional development and bringing members of her phenomenal collection of resources of women who are doing inspiring things all around the world. She, with her leadership and work with Career Girls, she has brought together the largest online collection of career guidance videos focusing on diverse and accomplished women. They are equally phenomenal, and we're so delighted to have her curate today's panel. So without further ado, I present Linda Calhoun of Career Girls. Focusing on diverse and accomplished women. They are equally phenomenal, and we're so delighted to have her curate today's panel. So without further ado, I present Linda Calhoun of Career Girls.
Thank you, Christy. I know we were having a little bit of an issue with echo and playback, but it is wonderful to partner with you and your colleagues at San Francisco Public Library. And I'm delighted to be in conversation with these successful entrepreneurs from the Hmong community. I know we were having a little bit of an issue with echo and playback, but it is wonderful.
Linda, do you happen to have your YouTube open? You might want to close it because it's repeating.
And 1 second, in conversation with these successful entrepreneurs from the Hmong community. I know we were having. Sorry about that, everyone. Just a little snafu with our playback here. So once again, thank you, Christy. It's wonderful to partner with you and your colleagues at San Francisco Public Library. And I'm delighted to be in conversation with these successful entrepreneurs from the Hmong community. I'm excited for today's conversation on mindfulness and self-care, and I'd like to briefly introduce our panel members. You can also see their full bios in the program description. First, let me introduce Zoua Xiong, who's an entrepreneur who seeks to inspire, heal, and move her clients in the direction of their peace. And as a yoga coach, Kazua's goal is to teach yoga, meditation, and mindfulness practices in an intuitive and playful way, leaving participants curious to learn more about their body. With over 350 hours of learning that includes yoga movements, breathwork, meditation, and yogic philosophy, Kazuo seeks to integrate this ancient wisdom to help modern-day professionals slow down and to live more. Lia Yang, who is a dip nails expert and CEO of the Lia Living Life collection of dip products. Lia believes all women should have some glassy shine confidence in their lives. She is also the founder of the Glassy Shine Fast Track program, where she coaches professional women on how to do their own dip nails from home with salon quality results. She also teaches a monthly Nail Art Masterclass to give her clients options on nail art. And she's been in the nail industry for over 10 years, doing a variety of nail services. So welcome to you both. And I'd like to begin our conversation with both of you sharing with our audiences a bit more about what it is that you do and why it's important to you, and how your work aligns with your values. Whoever would like to start.
Thank you so much, Linda, and to the San Francisco Public Library for giving us this opportunity to be here with all of you today. My name is Gajua, and more about the work that I do. I teach yoga, meditation, breathwork, specifically to mothers. And so mothers are very overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities. We all know that. And so I give them an opportunity and to help them to give permission to themselves to relax, to rest, so that they can show up and be more present with their family, with their jobs, so they can be better mothers for you and a better friend and a better boss. And so right now, that is the line of work that I'm in. And all of this aligns with my value, because I wish that when I was a middle schooler, high schooler, that somebody would have taught me how to come back to my breath when I have anxiety or when I'm stressed out and there's that presentation that I have to do. And I did not know how to calm down my nerves. And so sometimes, it would just, in my head, I bomb it, right? Like it was just a horrible presentation. But I really wish I would have learned a lot of these techniques earlier on to really respect my body, to really give my body the respect that it deserves for all that it does for me. And so my value is that my goal in life is to live in peace, ease, and love. Mm. So, and that's what I embody, and that's what I share with who I come in contact with in my life.
Oh, you have to repeat that again. What was it? Peace, beauty, and love?
Peace, ease, and love.
Perfect. Thank you. Lia, for you, the same question. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and how it aligns with your values.
Hi, yes, my name is Lia Yang, and I do dip nails. If you don't know what that is, it's a nail enhancement product like gels and acrylics. And so I provide the service in my studio. The products I carry in my online store. And now I have a program where I coach everyday busy women how to do dip nails for themselves. And so my work is important to me because getting your nails done is just like putting on makeup or doing your hair. It gives you that boost of confidence, right? And so you feel good when you take care of yourself. And that feeling increases your self-esteem, whether you are just going to a job interview, meeting someone new, or going out with your girlfriends. You know, that good feeling on the inside, it shows up in your appearance and your attitude. And so that's what I call Glassy Shine Confidence. And so I do your dip nail once, and then you have that Glassy Shine Confidence for 2 to 3 weeks. And so doing nails and finding a way to express myself through nail art is a creative outlet for me. And so getting your nails done is a form of self-care because you are grooming your nails. And I love helping women keep that routine. The reason why I focus my work on dip products is they're not as harsh on your nails and can keep your natural nails strong and healthy. And so, you know, I believe that you shouldn't have to sacrifice your healthy nails for nail enhancement. And so, you know, as part of my program, the Glassy Shine Fast Track, I educate my client on nail care too, you know, and not just the application process, because I really want to empower these women to be able to take care of their nails at their own convenience. And this way they can do their nails as a creative outlet for themselves, for their self-expression, and maybe, you know, make this part of their self-care routine.
Thank you for that. And Kazuha, you know, it's my understanding that mindfulness, you know, recognizes and cultivates the best of who we are as human beings. And you spoke to it in your previous answer in terms of defining mindfulness, but can you also talk to us about the role it plays in your yoga practice and how our audience can, you know, cultivate that in their yoga practice?
Thank you. Mindfulness is a practice that helps us to come back to our center. So I think for a lot of us, we have no idea what that even means or what that even feels like. And so on the yoga mat, you get the chance to feel that. You get the chance to experience what is the language of your body. What is your body telling you today? And too often we're so busy, we're stressed out that we don't have the chance to pause and to tune in and listen. Is it my shoulders? Is it my low back? What's hurting? Is it my headache? What's really bothering me? And so mindfulness, I would explain it this way, that it is catching ourselves in that moment and then coming back to the center. So if you think about a seesaw, right? A lot of the times, sometimes, not a lot of the times, but sometimes we spend too much time, we're off balance, right? And too much time we're in that negative self-talk. And so the mindfulness is catching yourself and say, wow, I am spiraling down on this negative self-talk that I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And if you don't catch yourself, then you spiral down. And so on that seesaw, what we want to do is balance it out, come back to the center. So when I talk about the center, I can give you that visualization. But on the yoga mat, we're not just stretching, we're not just doing like crow pose and handstands, right? It's really coming back to your center. And everyone experiences their center differently, but you have to sit still enough to understand what that center is, and then applying all of that off the mat when you are going to do that presentation, and then you start, you're feeling off balance, that negative self-talk is really loud. So what do? Right? You counter that with something positive, like, I've done this before, I'm smart, I'm a great speaker. And then that seesaw becomes balanced and you're in the center again. So that is mindfulness. It's catching yourself in these moments so you can come back And in yoga, we use the breath to come back. And the breath really nourishes the entire nervous system. And it brings us back to ourselves and to remembering that we are enough.
Thank you, Kazuha. That was absolutely beautiful and such great advice for all of us. Lia, can you talk to our audience about the importance of self-care? I love that Kazuha had us, you're focusing on the self. And you, through the work that you do, your business, I believe you have a way to have us honor ourselves.
Yes. So, when you take time to do your nails, you're really just focusing on that one aspect. And so kind of like what Kazuha was saying about mindfulness is at that moment, you're not thinking about other things that are going on in your life. You're really just taking the time out for yourself and doing that one thing for you. And so in a society, where most of us, we work 5 days a week, and typically we only get 2 days of rest. It seems like we're always on the go. Even on our rest day, we are busy. We're always doing something for someone or have somewhere to be. And just hearing me say this, it already sounds exhausting, doesn't it? So, when you don't stop to rest and take care of yourself, then it could affect your mental and physical and even spiritual health in a negative way. And so it has been clinically proven that making time to practice a self-care routine can reduce stress, depression, anxiety, and frustration. And so it can lower the risk of cancer, heart diseases, and stroke. And so, that's talking about your mental health and your physical health by not taking time to do self-care. And so with regular self-care practice, some benefits that you can notice in your life is better concentration, maybe more energy. It can help you improve your mood and even make you feel happier, right? So, most importantly, taking that time to do a little self-care and actually doing something just for you will help relieve the pressure of everyday life, of that on the go, busy all the time. And it kind of just bring you back to a healthy mental state of mind where you can continue to do the things that you have to do at maximum productivity.
Oh, thank you for that, Lia. And, understanding the importance of mindfulness and the role that it plays in self-care. Can you share some tips? Because to your point, Lia, and this is a question for both of you, how can our audience start to develop some of the habits that would support mindfulness and self-care?
So, self-care is anything that you can do to take care of your mental, physical, or spiritual well-being. It could just be, a 10-minute walk or, a 30-minute meditation, an hour-long bath. It's just whatever that you enjoy doing for you. Just make sure that, I know that we're so busy and a lot of time we don't make time to really do the self-care, right? A lot of time we're just in front of the TV watching something or on our, electronics and playing games. And that's not really self-care. Self-care should be intentional. And so I feel like it benefits you the most if you practice it every day. Even if you're really busy and you don't have time to schedule in like an hour or 30 minutes to do your self-care routine, maybe you could find 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, you know, just doing, being mindful of that and doing it intentionally, even for just 5 minutes here and there, you know, it's still better than not doing anything at all.
Kazuha?
I would just like to add to that. You know, I think a lot of the times when people think about meditation, they tend to think that it's very difficult, and they tend to think that they have to sit there and like quiet their entire mind, right? And so even if you've never done meditation before, I invite you to just practice. And what that looks like is just preparing a location in your room. It doesn't need to be a big space at all. You don't even need a yoga mat. Just grab a pillow, a cushion, and place it there. And look at the corner or look at a wall or something, right? Look at something beautiful. You can look or you can close your eyes. And for you to just visually see that cushion on the floor, your mind is going to make the connection like, oh yeah, that is my mindfulness spot. Oh yeah, I should just go sit down and just take a time out, right? Take a break for a little bit. And so that would be my advice, that it can be very simple, very, very simple. And if you have that place and it's ready to go, you will remember, as you see it, you'll remember to go sit down and just close your eyes and just come back and pay attention to your breath. You can start there.
And I want to pick up on, you know, this practice, this meditation that you're just speaking to. And can you share with our audience, you know, some of the benefits? You know, they'll feel it, but, you know, if you can identify, you know, in the work that you do, what you've seen, how this benefits the practitioner.
The biggest benefits that I've seen is calming down the nervous system. I think a lot of the times our mind is really loud. It's really loud. It tells us a lot of things that we can't control, things just a lot, sometimes negative, sometimes positive. And so what the breath work does, and that's what's used in a lot of the meditation, is to control the breath. So for example, inhaling for a count of 5, holding the breath for 5, exhaling for another count of 5, something very simple like that. And if you can't go 5, just go 1, 2, 3, and then hold for 3, and then exhale for 3. What you're doing there is you are calming and balancing out. Remember, we talked about that seesaw. You're balancing out the nervous system. So the nervous system is your fight and your flight, right? Versus your rest and digest. And so we live in a world where we're always like anxious and we have the anxiety and just nervousness, right? And then we continue to just do things that will feed on to the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, that we never give the chance for our parasympathetic nervous system, the part of us that wants to rest and just digest and just be. We're so off balance internally and energetic wise. And so the breath really just nourishes the entire body. And you don't even need to know, you just notice that, are you breathing from your chest? Or are you breathing all the way from your belly, all the way up to your lungs? And if you just pause, you will start to notice. You will start to pay attention. And once the nervous system is balanced, you show up differently. I can promise you that you will show up differently to your friends, to your teachers, to your parents, right? You will be more calm, more patient. You will respond instead of reacting, because we live in that fight or flight. We're always reacting, like no one understands me, no one gets me, right? And so when we pay attention to our breath and really take care of what's happening on the inside, then we can respond. And when we respond, we have time. So we can be more kind. We can actually think through about what we want to say and what we're thinking. And so I promise that once you start being more mindful of your breath and you take some time to practice just silencing everything and just resting your body, you are going to show up differently. And then your friends will start to notice, and your teachers will start to notice, your parents will start to notice. There's a sense of calmness around you. People want to be around you. You'll be attractive in terms of energetic wise. So give it a try.
That's so true. I mean, as you were speaking, I think, it also allows others to also find that place of calm. So it's contagious. Not only are you being mindful and benefiting yourself, but it's a benefit to others. So thank you so much for sharing that response with us. Lia, I want to ask you about becoming an entrepreneur. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur, and what's the best part of it for you?
So I decided to become an entrepreneur because honestly, I just wanted to have control of the work that I do, and I wanted to control my time. As I was making, women's nails beautiful in the salon, my own nails were being neglected. And so I wasn't, too happy when I was working under another salon. But once I, decided that I was going to start my own business and start working for myself, I really just focused on the nail service that I believed in. And I pursued my dream of making dip nails available for all women, and not just the ones who are able to go into the salons. And now that, I can create my own self-care routine and do my nails every 2 weeks, for me, the best part of being an entrepreneur is the satisfaction of serving my clients well, and knowing that, my client appreciate the know-how of nail care that is usually provided by a professional, but now they can do it for themselves, and that is rewarding to me.
Oh, I love it. This empowerment theme all the way through, in terms of empowering yourself and then also giving that gift to clients and your customers. Thank you. We are in Asian American Pacific Islander Celebration Month, but we're all aware that there's significant discrimination against Asian American Pacific Islanders, and especially violence targeted towards women in your community. And what I would like to know is, do you have advice for allies, people who want to support and the community and understand that this violence and discrimination is completely unacceptable? How can we be better allies?
I think the first thing I would like to share is within ourselves, being that, stepping into that leader of who we are, and developing compassion and understanding what compassion really is and what it feels like in our own body, and understanding rest, understanding self-love and what it feels like. So taking ownership of that and doing the work in ourselves and our bodies. And then also reaching out to any of our AAPI community friends. And I think a lot of it starts at home, and so for those of you who, just a really quick example here, that maybe just invite your neighbor over for a barbecue and just getting to know each other as human beings, and not, that, we are Asian or there's different race or cultures. It's just that find that connection as humans, and reach out, extend an invitation, and just say, hey, neighbor, go knock on their doors. And I know that sometimes it might take a few tries, because I can speak for my family and myself that we don't open the door for strangers, even though they are our neighbors. We don't talk to each other. And I think that's the one thing that's really missing is let's have more communication. Let's have more connection. And that could be through food, right? Like we all connect through food. And instead of having your Asian friend or your Hmong friend make those egg rolls for you, we will love to share a recipe anytime. But instead of that, just, I feel like within the AAPI community, there's a lot of giving. We give. And this is a great month for us to take. And so if you want an ally, just give that reminder, like, hey, it's okay for you to rest. It's okay. You don't have to cook this time. You don't have to make your egg rolls this time. Come over and enjoy our barbecue. Come to swim in our family pool, like whatever it is, just extend the invitation and really help us feel seen. Help us feel seen, that we're not just these invisible people hiding in our house, or like making sure we're looking over our shoulders when we're walking on the streets or into public spaces, but just make eye contact, smile, say hello. I think these are very simple things that we can all do as humans to have that connection. And I think one of the biggest things is Asians, and I know I can speak for myself specifically, is just feeling that sense of invisible, like just being invisible. And so kindness is a language that we can all understand. And so extending that to your neighbors, extending that to your friends, and just acknowledge and ask, how are you doing? And just reach out.
I'm just gonna trail off of what Kazoa said, because I do believe that changes start, from the inside with a person. But I would also like to say that, racial violence is nothing new. We've seen it happen to different groups throughout history. And I believe that, if our allies, if they speak up against the violence and just remind our society that violence has never resolved any racial issues or benefit the community as a whole. We need to remind our society that underneath the skin color and the cultural differences, we are all the same. We all went through the pandemic together, and us Asians, we've suffered and sacrificed just like every other race. Nothing was special about us Asian during that time. And so yeah, I believe that, just speak up. It should be heard. If you see someone, creating the violence or acting upon that, be brave enough to say, hey, that's not right. Don't do that.
I love it. I mean, this focus on really acknowledging and amplifying our common humanity and being seen. And if you see something, say something. Thank you for that. And, how does resiliency in this very stressful time for all of us, but particularly in the face of the discrimination we just talked about, how does resiliency show up for you, for each of you individually? And also, you're both leaders in the Hmong community. How do you draw strength from the Hmong community?
For me, I feel like you just have to keep going. It doesn't matter what your situation is or what happened. You have to keep trying. You have to survive. You just have to, wake up every day and be your best and do your best. You just got to keep going. For me, I draw my strength for my Hmong community through seeing that, as a new business, I'm trying to break out into mainstream America market. And, it's not happening as fast as I would love it to be. But yet, I do see that my own Hmong community, they notice me, that they see me and that they support me. And so I'm very grateful for them, to support, to get their services, to order their products from me. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy that at least I can start there with my own home community, and then grow from there.
Thank you. Kaza?
Yeah, resiliency requires self-awareness, so that we can catch ourselves and have that bounce back. And so having that bounce back is really important. And I think that's why establishing some type of self-care routine, establishing some type of meditation routine is so helpful, so we can go sit and meditate and bounce back to come back to our center. Resiliency, from what I draw from my community, is the fact that we have made it all these years, by not having a place to call home. I think what bonds us together is that everywhere we are home. And so that sense of resiliency, that we belong to each other. And I think that connects to beyond my Hmong community. I think for someone who was born and raised as a Hmong person, and to know that there's no home to return to, this is home to me. And all of you, we're all part of this together. I think that's the most beautiful thing that has been gifted to me as a Hmong person, is to understand that.
It's beautiful. And within your community and beyond, how do you see providing leadership? What's sort of your approach to being the leaders that you are?
I hope that, by pursuing my passion and turning that into a business, I hope to inspire, young girls, especially those in the home communities, and those girls who may not want to go to a 4-year university, right? That, they can look into the beauty industry as a rewarding career choice too. Every month inside my DIY dip group, I host a dip and sip party. And, I hold that virtual space for women to come together to do their nails, drink their favorite beverage, and just have a conversation. No judgment. It's just a time for you to make for yourself and do that nails among other women. And so this is how I am making space for self-care for other women and being a leader.
Thank you. And a role model.
I think for me is, I came from education. So I was previously an educator. And I think the best thing that I did for myself, and also to kind of set that example for my students, was it's okay, you can change path. Just because you went to college for one thing doesn't mean that you have to do that for the rest of your life. And it's okay, and to do something completely different. It's okay if people say bad things about you. It's okay if people don't support you. That if you are following your heart and your intuition, and your body is relaxed when you're doing this, then you are on the right path. And I think that in itself is leadership, that we don't have to stay in something that makes us unhappy. It might bring in the money. We might have a lot of joy in it too, but if it's not fulfilling a purpose at that time, it's okay to change career.
Oh, that's such amazing insight, because what I'm hearing and what I hope the audience is taking away is, what you do, the work that you promote, it's allowing you to be able to know who you are and know what it is that you want to do, and be able to stay the course from the work that you would get from mindfulness, and a meditation practice, it really gives you power. So I appreciate the fact that you're helping all of our audience be able to discover their own personal power to live the life that they would like to live. Now I want to, since I have you here, Lia, can you share any of the tips on the latest trends in nail colors and manicure? I was doing this program with you today, so I definitely stepped up my nail game. But for our audience, what's trendy? What's on point?
Right now, people are loving the almond and the coffin shaped nails. They're also into the jelly like colors. Some people like it and some people don't, but that is one of the trend, is the jelly color, kind of like a glass, like a color sea glass you kind of see through. And also a lot of the Korean and Japanese nail styles are trending right now in the United States too.
Great, thank you. And Kazuha, you spoke about it a little bit, but can you share with our audience your go-to breathing exercise when you are stressed or anxious? What's the thing that you do to take that right away?
It's called alternate nostril breathing. So here, we can all practice together. Just use your finger, cover the right nostril, covering the right nostril, exhale left. And then inhale left, switch finger, exhale. Inhale right, switch, exhale left. Inhale left, switch, exhale right. One more time, inhale right, switch, exhale left. And then after you do that, you just close your eyes and notice. And so I highly recommend alternate nostril breathing before any presentation, before taking a test, before asking someone else to prom. Do your breath work. No one needs to know what you just did, and then go in with that confidence.
Great. And we have about another minute before our conversation has to come to a close, unfortunately. But my last question for each of you is, what advice would you give to anyone watching this conversation?
I would say love yourself, because, this is something that I have learned later on in my life. And I wish that I had started loving myself a lot sooner, because there's happiness and health, well-being, wellness that come from loving yourself and practicing self-care. So remember to do that, okay?
Thank you, Lia. Kazuha?
I would say stay curious. And the reason why I say that is because the reason why I come to my cushion, my mat every day is because I'm curious. What is my body going to reveal to me today? Where's my mind at? How am I breathing? I'm curious about my own self, my own well-being. And so being curious will lead you to explore meditation, yoga, explore self-care like Lia has mentioned. And so stay curious.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for this phenomenal conversation. There's so much good information that you've shared, and the spirit of generosity of which you shared it comes through. So thank you.
I would add my thank you to Linda for guiding this program along and creating this extraordinary panel. I feel so cared for and so nurtured by listening to the wisdom of Zoua and Lia and just the self-care. And now I want to get my nails done now that I know it's on trend. But more importantly, I participated in the last breathing exercise, and I feel different in my body. So thank you for that experience, and something I'm gonna bring forward. It's an incredible opportunity. We're so grateful to be with you in this global space. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, watch it again, share it with your friends and family, spread the word about this opportunity to really connect with your body and be more in touch with being your full self. So we have lots and lots of virtual events coming up and more in person. So check our library's website. And with that, thank you, Linda, Zoua, Lia, and our audience today. We'll see you again soon. Take care, everyone.